Good evening all of you. It's me Rajesh back with another video. This particular video I have made specifically for the students of class 10 and class 12 who are going to face their board exams in India. Whether they are following the state syllabuses or the CBSE or the ICSE, whatever, the students of class 10 and class 12 of this particular year are facing a severe stress as compared to previous years. Why is it so? The reason being, they haven't still adapted to the new style of learning. I'm not talking of all the students, but many of the students are still finding it difficult to adapt to this online learning process, which has been happening across the country due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, when I thought about this, I realized that there is a need to inform all the higher-ups of the schools, the educationists, the academicians, the principals, the headmasters, the headmistresses, the teachers of class 10 and 12 of the need to reinforce the mental capability of the students if they are to face the exams in a confident way. So that is the main reason why I thought of doing this video. It is a common knowledge that across India, in several states, in several districts, in several towns, most schools conduct exam fear overcoming classes or confidence boosting classes to the class 10 and class 12 students during the months of January or February. This is to reinforce their mental capability. It's a good thing to do. But this particular year, is it possible? Have they done so? If not, what are they going to do? So that is why I thought of making this video. This particular video, I would rather concentrate more on the as a communication method to the teachers than to the students. Yes, if the parents or the students are listening or viewing this video, they will also be getting few inputs wherein such inputs which can be utilized by them. But I am more concentrating on the teachers and principals in this video. So what are the things the teachers or the principals or the academicians should be concentrating on? What are the modules they should be focusing on? What are the methods they should be adapting to strengthen the mental strength of the students, or rather enhancing the mental strength of the students? Now, I would rather say they should be focusing on three very important aspects. One, they should be focusing on methods of relaxation, methods of means whether it is a mental exercise or a physical exercise or any other relaxation methods wherein the students can follow and thus decrease the mental strength, or rather overcome the mental stress. So such relaxation methods, such relaxation techniques like breathing exercises, meditations, if they are God-fearing people, the importance of prayers. If they are not, if they are atheists, I don't mind talking to atheists also, they are also part of the society. If they are atheists, how to meditate without thinking of God. All these things has to be done parallelly. And if they are believers in God, yes, the importance of visiting places of worship where the pandemic hasn't affected that much. Otherwise, the importance of sitting at home and worshipping or praying and all those things. The importance of playing, the importance of getting relaxed via music, the importance of watching cartoons or comedy programs, the importance of interaction with family members, with teachers, with friends. All these are methods to relax one's brain as well as one's body. So this is something the teachers or the academicians should be focusing on. Second thing they should be focusing on is scheduling of the timetable. Now, yes, they are going to face the board exam. They might have made a study table, studying schedule, wherein they are going to which they are going to follow until the board exams. So they might have divided their entire day into a few hours, which they will be scheduling some of the subjects according to their whims and fancies. Now, I would rather suggest a few tips to the students as well as the teachers. Primarily, one common mistake made by the students is that the first subject they opt to study or they opt to finish is the subject which is most easy, or rather wherein they score high marks. Now this is a wrong technique if you ask me, because getting up early in the morning when the brain is fresh, when your body is fresh, If you're going to focus on a subject which is easy for you, it is not the right method. I would rather suggest you to concentrate on subjects which are very tough for you, which are hard for you, which you find it difficult to study. Because when the body and mind is fresh, you put in more effort on the subjects which you find difficult to study. So that is the ideal method to focus on your studying schedule. Never focus for more than 60 minutes on one particular subject. Yes, exception is there. Mathematics is an exception wherein you can concentrate for 90 minutes at a stretch. Otherwise, a 60-minute for one subject is enough. Post 60 minutes, take a break of 10 minutes, then focus on another subject. Your scheduling, your timetable for the study whole days should be in that manner. Why? Because your brain will find it difficult to concentrate for more than 60 minutes on one particular subject, and you will be wasting your time only, rather because not much is going to get into your head after 60 minutes. So focus on 45 minutes to 60 minutes on one particular subject. Take a break for 5 to 10 minutes. Study the another subject for another 45 to 60 minutes. Take a break for half an hour. And when I say take a break, you can relax, you can read a newspaper, you can have a chat with your friends or parents, you can listen to music, etc. You can read some comics, whatever you feel like doing. The best method of relaxation which you feel you should do. So that is something you should be concentrating on. Now for studying also, you should be doing one more thing. Now there are 3 types of students who are facing their board exam. One are the above average students who are focusing on scoring high marks. 2 are the average students who are going to focus on getting a good marks. And 3 are those who are still doubtful whether they will pass or whether they will fail. Now, for the teachers, I would rather say you should be instructing the students to focus differently if their ambition or objective is different. For example, a student whose dilemma is whether he or she gets pass marks or not, the studying method is different. For a student who is focusing on full grade, 98, 99, 100% marks, the studying method should be different. Now, what is the ideal method? I would rather say the teachers to allow the students to make a timetable in such a way that a student who is just his or her objective is just getting pass marks, inform that students to focus on a particular set of chapters alone, not the full book of any subject. A particular set of chapters alone, and keep repeating it. Once that set of chapters he has finished studying, he should again focus on those chapters only rather than go for new chapters, because I want the students to be completely thorough of the portions he or she has completed. If the student follows this pattern, it is easier for the students to answer the questions which are coming from that particular portion, and yes, he can get pass marks. Now, how much of the chapters, out of 12 chapters, whether to concentrate on 3 or 4 or 5 or 3 or 4, the teacher has to take the call and instruct the students. What about the students who are trying for average, above average? I am not sure of the top enders, but who are just above average or just above average. For them, they should be concentrating on 80% of the textbooks, 80% of the subjects, and that they have to become thorough. Rather than trying to complete the 100% of the book, if they are concentrating on 80% and they have got available time after the schedule is over, they have got still 1 more week for the exam, I would rather suggest to again study these 80% alone so that they can get optimum marks from the questions which are coming from that particular portions. For the students who are focusing on getting full grades, there is no other alternative but to study the entire portion of the textbooks of the subjects. So these 3 methods, the teachers or the principals have to instruct the students depending on what category each of the students are. Right? So scheduling is one more thing. And while scheduling, I would also suggest the students to take adequate care. That is, after 3 to 4 days of scheduling, a half-a-day schedule should be left out as such without any subjects coming that time. For example, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. After 4 days, Friday from 6:30 to 12, no subjects. Why? Because if at all there have been pending for the past 4 days, the child has planned certain things, yes, certain things will be pending. For that, adequate time has to be accommodated to study those subjects. So that is why I have instructed after 4 days, a half a day break is needed, so that whatever was left pending during the past 4 days, the child can finish those portions in the half a day available. So this is also something the child has to look into while scheduling. Now, first I told relaxation techniques, second I told scheduling. Now there is one more area which I want the teachers as well as the academicians, the principals, the tutors, the mentors to focus on to guide the students, even the parents. In this particular portion, the parent has to play a big role. Diet. Diet too plays a big role in the students' studying habits, as well as it helps those diets which help the students memorize easily, which nourishes the brain. Those diet which subdues the brain's activity has to be avoided. Those which nourishes it has to be provided. Sufficient quantity of fluid, sufficient quantity of proteins need to be supplemented. And I don't mean protein supplementation mean adding protein powders. No, I'm not against them. It depends on the pocket of the parent. I would rather say pulses provide a good quantity of protein if the child is a veg. If it is a non-veg consuming child, yes, there are other alternatives like chicken, etc., and fish, etc. If the child is a vegetarian, then he or she has got an option of going for pulses, to say the least. Now, these are the three main areas which I want the academicians to focus while instructing the children on how to face exam in a confident manner. Finally, one last point I would like to make. Never skip your breakfast on the exam day. This is something I have seen commonly happening. Never discuss. These points are particularly for the students. Never skip your breakfast. Because once you are going to skip your breakfast, imagine you had your dinner the previous night and then you are going to have your lunch. Imagine that much time. Will your brain stand or cope, or will your brain be able to reproduce or remember whatever has been studied? You will find it difficult. So never skip your breakfast. Take fluids, right? Third, do not go to the exam hall and start discussing with your friends or your classmates which are the questions which are going to come, which are the questions which wouldn't come. They are not the people who have said the question paper, so they wouldn't be knowing. So why should you go and ask them? So I would suggest don't do that. Suppose your friend says one particular question is going to come and you haven't studied that, or you are not sure of the full answer of that question. Won't you be in a state of mental stress? So please don't be in that stress. Do not discuss with any of the students. You go there, find your seat, you revise, you sit there, stay calm, write your exam. And once your exam is over, I want you to return home because you have got the exam the next day, right? Do not stay there and discuss the question paper with your classmates, because again you are going to find out certain mistakes you have committed, and that will act upon your mind when you go home. And that is going to affect your studying of that particular day. You can discuss the question paper, you can test your whether you answered correctly or not after all the exams are over, not before that. I don't want any of you to go home and check out the question papers. And this is one particular point I want the parents also to remember. Do not take the question paper and check whether the child has answered it correctly or not. You can do that after all his or her exams are over. So I think these are the brief tips for a video of 14 to 15 minutes. I can't say more than this because an exam fear overcoming class might take about 150 to 180 minute session. And to get that in a capsule form is very tough. I just want to pass on this benefit of this class to maximum number of students of our country. So I have made this video, and I'm expecting the teachers, the principals, the headmasters, the headmistresses, the academicians, the school authorities, and all those people who are involved with the education sector to pass on this video to maximum number of students and schools, so that the benefit of this video reaches them. And as far as I am concerned, to watch similar videos, you can check out my YouTube channel, which is HR Mentor Rajesh T. HR for Human Resource, Mentor, M-E-N-T-O-R, Mentor. After HR there is a gap, then Mentor, there is a gap, then Rajesh, R-A-J-E-S-H, Rajesh, a gap, T. And my FB ID is also the same. I have got a page, HR Mentor Rajesh T, wherein you can find similar videos or articles. And if you find this video useful, I request all of you to subscribe this channel, to click on the bell button so that you get notification for further videos when I am uploading, and also to share this video to maximum number of students. Thank you one and all, and to all the students, wishing you all the very best in the coming board exam. Thank you.